Okay, so we are in part 3 of the snake game with TDD series. Uh, so let me just quickly recap what we have done so far. So in our snake game, right now we have been still implementing the snake, and we are 2 hours in, and all we have got is 3 methods in the snake interface. One of them is a bit dodgy, and so what I want to do right now is take a pause and look at the design and see if um, any obvious flaws spring to my mind. There were a couple that I had pointed out in earlier videos. When I was writing tests, I realized that there were a few things that you know didn't quite sit right with me. So one of them was this orientation object that the snake returns. So this is to denote, if you remember, snake's position and direction both. It encapsulates the snake's position and direction in it. The issue with having a getter for this is this has these 4 methods which let you change the position of the snake without actually uh, being in one of its core behaviors. So a snake's position should only change as part of its move functionality or as part of its change direction functionality when there is a user input. There should not be any other way to change a snake's orientation. But as you can see, uh, if in this test, if I do I have the head orientation with me freely, right? And this is a test method, but this could just as easily be another service or anything that has access to snake object, right? So I can do increment x, right? And now this test will start failing e, and this is just to indicate that it's possible to corrupt the internal state of the snake without actually doing any meaningful operation, and that is something we want to avoid. So uh, this I believe is called leaky abstraction. Let's look that up actually. uh, I think this is the right term. uh, Leaky abstraction. So what uh, okay, leaks details that are supposed to be extracted away, right? uh, all non-trivial abstractions to some degree are leaky. That's true. The statement highlights a particularly problematic cause of software defects: the reliance of the software development on an abstraction's infallibility. That's true. uh, Speaking from experience, it's very hard to make infallible abstractions. Uh, as much as you want the abstractions to be set in stone, they are not. And even abstractions change a lot of time, not as much as the implementations itself, but they do. And that is changing this abstraction essentially is basically you find a design flaw and you're fixing that. But the good thing is, with test-driven development, you are able to do that uh, with a relatively confidently, because you have a test suite. In this case, I will have to refactor the tests as well to get rid of this leaky abstraction, because as you can see, I've used this all over the place to assert on my tests. So let's try and fix that. Uh, okay, so what I want to do is, this is refactoring. I want to get rid of this. As soon as I do this, let's see, I think pretty much, okay, it fails to compile. Let me comment this out, and again something, anything is going to compile. Now what I want is, okay, so uh, the tests, what these tests do is basically they are using the head orientation to get the snake direction or the x coordinate and the y coordinate. If you remember earlier, I was writing this earlier as snake dot get head orientation dot get x coordinate, which by the way is a law, like a violation of the law of Demeter, where it says that you should not be doing x dot y dot z to get a value. And again, uh, that is highlighted in the here. I'm not doing x dot y dot z, but I am doing x equal to right. I'm first getting this from x, and then from y I'm getting z. So that violation is still happening, and that actually again points to a design flaw. So this is how, like, these laws, right, law of Demeter, you don't know why it's a bad thing, but this is an example of why such a thing could be bad. So let's, okay. Oh, so what is the alternative then? So because we want to know the snake's head's position, we don't want to be able to change the head's position, which means that there can be getter for the its position, there can be a getter for its direction, but there can't be any setters. Hence we want to get rid of this get head orientation usage. And what's the alternative? Well, we'll have to replace this one get head orientation method with uh, uh, three or maybe two. I mean, it's up to us. Let's say, yeah, three different methods. Uh, okay. So first one is int get x coordinate. So once again, I'm not going to start refactoring from here. I'm going to start refactoring with the tests. So I want to get rid of all these lines where head orientation is being used. First, okay. Okay, now wherever I'm getting the x coordinate, so what I want to do is replace all the instances of this with basically snake dot get x coordinate. So we'll do command R and we'll do snake dot get head x, let's call it that. And we want to replace all of these get head y, and we want to replace all of the get direction with get head direction. Okay, so I have changed things around here. Now I just need to go and implement these in the snake interface, right? So one method I need is get head x, get head y, and get head direction. Let's go ahead and implement these methods. Now here it's simple enough. I think all I need to do is uh, head orientation dot get x coordinate, head orientation dot get y coordinate, head orientation dot get direction. I will remove all of this and okay, there are a few left. Let's replace these with as well. Get x. So snake dot I remember I wanted to like get rid of this test. Let's do that. Uh, let's run this and our test pass. So how long did that take? Barely 5-10 minutes, and I know that my code will still work, and that is why you want to do test driven development. We got rid of the leaky abstraction, we fixed our design, it took us 10 minutes, and we are confident. I don't know, maybe overconfident seems like, but let's see. Yeah, test all pass, I feel good. Okay. Let's look at our code now again, once again. So this is my snake. Let's look at the interface. Let's delete that. So a snake can change its direction, it can move, you can get the position of its head by x coordinate, y coordinate, and its direction. This looks like a pretty clean interface for now. Okay, what else? So we have not modeled the behavior of a snake's length in any way. Snake is just a point at this point, and we'll change that subsequently. But I want to stop this video because this was supposed to be just about refactoring, and this is an example of uh, how test-driven development lets us refactor. It supports better design. A lot of people do argue that, and I think that is the case. But it mm, even if it doesn't support good design, it does allow uh, for changing the design with the relatively confidently, and that's how you get to a good design. Okay, let's stop at this point.